Some bikes don't just fail, they die on the showroom floor. In 2025, dealers are slashing prices, bundling free gear, and still can't move them. Big names, big discounts, no buyers. These are the 7 motorcycles nobody wants this year, and the reasons will shock you. Starting with a model that once had solid fan support but now faces a cold shoulder from buyers who simply moved on. At no 07, the Kawasaki Z400 was once every beginner's favorite, but in 2025, it's struggling to even leave the showroom floor. That love story is fading fast. Dealers across North America, the UK, and even Asia are reporting that Z400 units are piling up, with discounts reaching as high as $900 off MSRP just to get them out the door. Why? Because the Z400 hasn't really evolved while everything around it has. The price sits around $5,700, only slightly cheaper than rivals like the Yamaha AMT-03 or CF Moto 450 NK, yet it feels dated. Its 399 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine still produces around 47 horsepower, which sounds fine on paper, but riders now expect more tech, more refinement, and a bit more personality at this price point. Meanwhile, new models like the CF Moto 450 NK and Honda CB500 Hornet have completely reset what buyers expect in the lightweight naked category. Those bikes come with TFT displays, traction control, slipper clutches, and in some cases, more power and better fuel economy. The Z400, it's still rocking the same analog digital dash that looks like it came out of a 2015 parts bin. Kawasaki's problem isn't reliability or performance, it's perception. Buyers in 2025 are flooded with content from YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, where flashy designs and features dominate attention. The Z400 looks clean and classic, but next to the 450 NK's aggressive LED styling or KTM's razor-sharp Duke series, it feels invisible. Even dealers are noticing the shift. Reports from several Midwest and European retailers suggest that Z400 stock ordered late last year remains unsold well into spring 2025. Kawasaki tried to move inventory through financing offers, 0% APR for 12 months, but it's not working. The bike's appeal has narrowed to 2 groups, complete beginners or brand loyalists who value reliability over looks. Everyone else? They're picking something newer and flashier. It's a shame, because the Z400 still rides beautifully, the chassis is well balanced, the suspension is predictable, and the engine remains one of the smoothest in its class. But modern riders now expect something extra for their money. In a market where Chinese manufacturers are offering 450 cubic centimeter bikes with full-color dashboards and riding aids for the same price, just reliable doesn't cut it anymore. Even in developing markets, where affordability usually saves older models, the Z400 is struggling. The arrival of cheaper, higher-spec bikes from brands like CF Moto and QJ Motor has changed the entry-level game completely. Riders who once saved for a Z400 can now buy something more powerful and tech-packed for similar money. For Kawasaki, this is a wake-up call. They've already hinted at an updated version for 2026, potentially with a mild redesign and better electronics. But until then, dealers are sitting on old stock, sometimes multiple units deep, with few serious buyers in sight. The Z400's case shows that even good bikes can fail when they stop evolving. It's not about power or price. It's about keeping up with what the audience expects in a digital, feature-driven world. It's proof that being dependable isn't enough anymore. You have to stay exciting. But what happens when even a total redesign can't rescue a brand's big comeback plan? Coming in at Nova 6, the Harley-Davidson Nightster was supposed to save Harley's future, but it ended up confusing everyone instead. When it launched, it looked like Harley finally understood that younger riders wanted something lighter, cheaper, and easier to handle than the company's heavy cruisers. But in 2025, reality looks different. Dealers across the US are now quietly admitting that the Nightster has become one of their hardest bikes to move, despite big discounts and strong marketing pushes. Priced around $13,500, the Nightster was positioned as an affordable way into Harley ownership. The idea sounded perfect. Take the new Revolution Max 975T engine, a liquid-cooled 975 cubic centimeter V-twin, producing 90 horsepower, and wrap it in a minimalist, sporty chassis. On paper, it had everything. In practice, it never found its place. The problem started with identity. The Nightster doesn't quite fit into any segment cleanly. For traditional Harley fans, it's too modern. Liquid cooling, electronic rider aids, and no signature potato exhaust note. For younger riders, it's still too heavy and expensive compared to bikes like the Yamaha MT-09 or Triumph Trident 660, both of which cost several $1,000s less but deliver more features and refinement. Dealers say most potential buyers walk in curious, sit on it, and then ask the same question. So why this over the Sportster S? That's the real killer. The Nightster competes with its own sibling. The Sportster S, while pricier, offers more power, 121 horsepower from the same engine family, more aggressive styling, and a much bolder road presence. Harley accidentally created internal competition that made the Nightster redundant before it even had a chance. Then there's the issue of pricing perception. For many riders, $13,500 doesn't scream entry-level. When you can buy a Honda CB 1000 Hornet, Suzuki GSX-S1000, or Kawasaki Z900 for the same or less, the Nightster suddenly looks overpriced. Add Harley's premium parts and servicing costs, and that affordable Harley starts looking like a financial headache instead of a gateway bike. The design hasn't helped either. While Harley clearly aimed for a sleek, urban look, the bike lacks the distinctive stance that defines the brand. It's not a full cruiser, not a sport standard, and not quite a roadster. Riders who want a Harley want something that looks like a Harley. Big tank, wide bars, bold chrome or matte muscle. The Nightster feels caught between eras, unsure whether it wants to appeal to purists or progressives. Sales data supports this struggle. According to U.S. motorcycle registration reports from early 2025, the Nightster's numbers are down nearly 40% compared to its 2023 launch year. Harley dealers in states like Texas, Florida, and California, usually strong markets, have reported unsold 2,024 units still on the floor as of March 2025. Even overseas, the story's the same. In Europe, where mid-range roadsters dominate, the Nightster's weight and price work against it. Riders there expect practicality and value, and the Nightster doesn't deliver either convincingly. It's a strong engine inside a confused package. It's not all doom, though. Those who've bought the Nightster often praise its build quality, low seat height just 27.8 inches, and surprisingly balanced handling for city use. It's also one of the easiest Harleys to ride, thanks to its predictable power curve and light clutch feel. For smaller or older riders, it's approachable in a way most Harleys aren't, but that's not enough to drive mass sales. Harley needs new blood, and the Nightster hasn't brought it in. The few who buy it tend to be existing Harley riders looking for a lighter second bike, not new customers entering the brand. That's a serious problem for a company trying to modernize its image and survive in a shrinking cruiser market. Harley's next move is uncertain. Rumors suggest the company may rework the Nightster into a touring light version or merge it with the Sportster line to simplify offerings. But for now, dealerships are offering deep discounts, accessory bundles, and even extended warranty deals just to get Nightsters out of showrooms. Harley tried to reinvent itself and missed the mark. But if you think American cruisers have it rough, wait till you see how one of Europe's biggest names is struggling with nostalgia fatigue. At Noble 5, BMW's R9T Urban GS shows that even European cool can go stale. When a bike refuses to evolve, it had that perfect mix of classic Dakar looks, solid BMW engineering, and a strong emotional pull. But in 2025, dealers are struggling to convince buyers that the Urban GS is still worth the asking price. And that's saying something, because the bike hasn't really changed in years, while its competition has evolved massively. at around $14,995. The R9T Urban GS sits in a strange middle ground. It's too expensive for a pure retro fun bike, but not capable enough to be a serious adventure machine. The 1,170 cubic centimeter air and oil-cooled boxer engine still produces around 109 horsepower and 86 pound-feet of torque, which sounds solid. But buyers in 2025 are asking a new question. What am I actually paying for here? The core issue isn't performance, it's positioning. This model was always meant to blend nostalgia with mild adventure appeal, but today's riders want clear purpose. They either go full adventure with something like a Triumph Tiger 900 GT Pro, or pure retro with the Ducati Scrambler 800 or Royal Enfield Shotgun 650. The Urban GS ends up stuck in between, and that in between is where sales go to die. Dealers across Europe report that Urban GS units are sitting unsold longer than any other R9T variant. In Germany, BMW's home market, dealers have resorted to adding free accessory packages, windscreens, luggage racks, and heated grips just to move remaining stock. In the US, the bike is seeing heavy rebates, with some dealerships knocking over $1,500 off MSRP or bundling 3-year service plans for free. Part of the problem is age. The R9T line debuted back in 2014, and although BMW refreshed it several times, the Urban GS has barely evolved. The instrument cluster still looks dated next to modern TFT screens, and while riders once loved the simplicity, many now view it as lacking value. When a Yamaha XSR 900 or Triumph Scrambler 1200 offers more features, better performance, and modern electronics for less money, the Urban GS starts to feel like a pricey throwback. Then there's comfort and practicality. Despite its rugged looks, the Urban GS isn't a great long-distance or off-road bike. Its suspension travel and seat design are more street-oriented, and at 485 pounds wet, it's not particularly light either. Even BMW loyalists admit it's more of a coffee run classic than a weekend adventure partner. The sales decline also reflects shifting buyer demographics. The crowd that once loved the R9T series, riders in their 30s and 40s looking for something stylish but premium, are now gravitating toward either performance nakeds like the KTM 890 Duke R or true touring comfort like the Honda NT 1100. The Urban GS doesn't fit those modern expectations. Dealers in California, the UK, and France all report the same customer feedback. It's nice, but too much money for what it is. That's a dangerous phrase in any showroom. And it's not just anecdotal. BMW's own internal sales figures show that the R9T family's total sales dropped nearly 22% from 2023 to 2025, with the Urban G/S being the hardest hit variant. Still, for riders who do buy it, the experience is undeniably charming. The air-cooled boxer has a distinct personality, smooth, torquey, and mechanical in all the right ways. The build quality is exceptional, and the design still turns heads everywhere it goes. But charm alone doesn't move inventory in 2025, especially when there are dozens of bikes offering modern comfort, performance, and tech for less. BMW faces a tough call here. Rumors suggest the company may finally retire the current R9T line and replace it with an all-new 1300 class platform based on the GS's modern boxer engine that could breathe life into the brand's heritage lineup. But for now, the Urban G/S feels stuck in time, and not in the romantic way BMW intended. The BMW R9T Urban GS is proof that nostalgia can only carry a bike so far before the market demands evolution. It's still a great motorcycle, but it's become a hard sell in a world that's moving faster than its retro charm can keep up. It's beautiful, yes, but beauty doesn't pay the bills. And the next bike proves that even when a machine has the right specs, the story behind it can still kill the sale. Number 4 goes to the Suzuki GSXS 1000 GT Plus, a tourer that should have been a hit but somehow missed every note buyers wanted to hear. On paper, it's everything sport touring riders could want. Strong inline-4 power, practical comfort, and a price that's lower than the competition. Yet, in 2025, dealers are finding it one of the hardest leader-class bikes to move. It's not because it's a bad motorcycle, it's because Suzuki missed what modern touring riders actually want. Let's start with the basics. The GSX S1000 GT Plus sells for around $14,499 and uses the same 999 cubic centimeter engine from the GSX R1000, tuned down slightly for smoother delivery. It puts out a healthy 150 horsepower, and the 6-speed gearbox is slick and dependable. On paper, it should compete easily with bikes like the Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX, Yamaha Tracer 9 GT, or even the Honda NT 1000. But that's not what's happening. Suzuki dealers across North America, the UK, and Australia report that the GSX 1000 GT Plus isn't moving. As of early 2025, some still have leftover 2023 units in stock. Even after discounts of $1,000 to $1,200, interest remains lukewarm. The reason is simple. The bike is trying to do too many things while standing out in none. Suzuki calls it a grand tourer, but most riders don't see it that way. The riding position leans too far forward for all-day comfort. Yet the bike's sport-tuned suspension isn't aggressive enough for riders who want performance. It's caught awkwardly between a super sport and a full tourer, much like the Harley Nightster we discussed earlier. It doesn't have a clear identity. Then comes the competition problem. The Yamaha Tracer 9 GT Plus offers adaptive cruise control, radar technology, and semi-active suspension for just a few $1,000s more. The Kawasaki Ninja 1000 SX, meanwhile, comes with integrated luggage, refined electronics, and a smoother seat setup right out of the box. Against that, the GSX S1000 GT Plus feels like a last-generation bike dressed in new clothes. Even the tech package that was a selling point in 2022 now feels dated. The 6.5-inch TFT display looks sharp, but its interface feels clunky compared to the modern layouts on rivals. The bike has traction control and ride modes, but no cruise control or suspension adjustment features. A huge omission in this price range. Touring riders want convenience and refinement. Suzuki gave them raw muscle and a small screen. Dealers also report demographic mismatch. Suzuki aimed it at middle-aged touring riders who still enjoy a sporty edge, but that group is shrinking fast. Most of them are now buying adventure tourers, lighter, taller, more versatile bikes like the Triumph Tiger 900 GT or BMW F900 XR. The few who still want traditional sport tours already prefer the Ninja 1000 SX because of its proven comfort and brand loyalty. Even loyal Suzuki fans aren't rushing to upgrade. Many still ride older GSX 1000F models that perform nearly as well and see little reason to pay thousands more for something that doesn't add much. And for new buyers entering this segment, the GSX 1000 GT Plus doesn't offer the wow factor. It's neither flashy nor tech-forward enough to justify its price tag. In the used market, the picture is even worse. Depreciation has been brutal. A 2022 GSX 1000 GT Plus that cost nearly $15,000 new now sells for $8,500 to $9,000 after just a few years. That's another red flag for buyers. If a bike loses that much value that quickly, people hesitate to buy new. Still, those who own one rarely complain. The engine remains one of the most satisfying in its class. Strong, smooth, and bulletproof. The bike handles beautifully, especially at highway speeds, but comfort is an issue for long rides, and the pillion seat is notoriously small and firm. As one owner put it on a major touring forum, it's a great 300-mile bike, but not a 1,000-mile one. Suzuki is caught in a tricky place. They've built a machine that rides great, but doesn't excite buyers visually or technologically. In 2025, motorcycles are sold as much on feel and features as on function. The GSX S1000 GT Plus still feels like it's playing catch-up to a game the rest of the market has already evolved past. The Suzuki GSX S1000 GT Plus is proof that even an excellent machine can struggle when its story doesn't connect with riders. It's not enough to be fast and reliable anymore. In 2025, you have to make people want to live with your bike. Suzuki built a rocket that nobody's lining up for. And if that sounds bad, the next brand's problem isn't performance, it's that they built the right bike for the wrong riders. Coming in at number 3, the Triumph Tiger 12 Rally Explorer proves that bigger and fancier don't always mean better in 2025. The Triumph Tiger 12 Rally Explorer was meant to be Triumph's bold answer to BMW's GS dominance, a rugged, go-anywhere adventure machine with British style and luxury touring comfort. And for a while, it looked like Triumph had nailed it. The first reviews in 2023 praised its 1,160 cubic centimeter triple engine, high-tech suspension, and long-range capability. But 2 years later, in 2025, the story's very different. Dealers across Europe and North America are sitting on unsold Tiger 1200s, often with markdowns reaching $2,000 to $2,500 off MSRP. The Rally Explorer, the top-spec model, starts at a hefty $25,000. It's an incredible machine on paper. 148 horsepower, semi-active Showa suspension, 7.9-gallon fuel tank, radar-based blind spot detection, adaptive cornering lights, and heated everything. The problem? Most buyers in 2025 simply don't want or need all of that anymore. The adventure touring segment has shifted. Riders are no longer chasing the biggest, most powerful ADV bikes. Instead, mid-sized machines like the Yamaha Tenere 700, Honda Transalp 750, and KTM 890 Adventure have taken over the market. They're cheaper, lighter, easier to maintain, and more practical for real-world use. That leaves the Tiger 12 Rally Explorer in a tough spot. Too expensive for average riders and too heavy for serious off-roaders. Weighing around 575 pounds, the Tiger is no featherweight, especially ones who add luggage and accessories. Triumph tried to balance comfort and capability, but the result feels a bit over-engineered. Owners report that while it's great on long highway stretches, maneuvering it in tight spaces or dirt trails can be exhausting. One owner on an ADV forum described it perfectly. It feels like piloting a luxury SUV off-road, capable, but not what you want to wrestle after a full day. The price gap is also killing interest. For $25,000, riders expect near perfection, and Triumph's bike, while good, isn't flawless. Some owners have complained about quick-shifter issues, minor electronics bugs, and high service costs. In comparison, the BMW R1300GS, which arrived in late 2024, is lighter, faster, and packed with even smarter electronics, and it's priced only slightly higher at around $26,500. That tiny difference makes the Triumph hard to justify. Dealers report slow traffic for all large-capacity Tigers, but especially the Rally Explorer. In the UK, Triumph's home market, multiple showrooms have quietly reduced prices or bundled panniers and crash bars to spark interest. US dealers have followed suit, offering low-interest financing and touring upgrade deals. Yet even with those incentives, many 2024 models remain unsold. Another factor working against the Tiger 12 Rally Explorer is reliability perception. While Triumph has improved dramatically, riders still see BMW and Honda as safer long-term investments for global touring. In markets like Australia and South Africa, where ADVs sell well, owners tend to favor bikes with massive service networks and proven reliability. Triumph's smaller global footprint puts it at a disadvantage. Then there's the rider fit issue. Adventure bikes live or die by ergonomics, and the Tiger's tall seat, 34.4 inches, excludes many potential buyers. Older riders or those with shorter inseams often find it intimidating, even with the adjustable seat in its lower position. Meanwhile, bikes like the Honda Africa Twin Adventure Sports manage to feel just as capable with lower seat heights and more forgiving balance. But it's not all all bad. The Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer remains one of the most comfortable adventure bikes on pavement. The triple engine is buttery smooth, the wind protection is excellent, and its long wheelbase makes highway touring effortless. It's just that most riders buying adventure bikes today want versatility, not a long-distance touring tank that can kind of go off-road. Triumph built a premium masterpiece, but the market moved away from that formula. Buyers no longer equate bigger with better. They want manageable, affordable, and fun. The Rally Explorer, unfortunately, feels like the right bike for the wrong decade. The Triumph Tiger 1200 Rally Explorer proves that even the most capable adventure bikes can lose their market if they miss the direction of rider trends. It's overqualified, overbuilt, and overpriced. A touring powerhouse that forgot most riders just want something simple, light, and easy to live with. Triumph went all in on size and luxury. But the next one shows how even the most balanced bike can vanish from buyer wish lists overnight. At number 2, Honda's CB650R is the perfect example of a great bike left behind by changing times. It was used to be one of the cleanest examples of what a middleweight naked should be. Smooth, dependable, handsome, and practical. But in 2025, dealers are quietly acknowledging that this once popular model has lost its audience. What was once Honda's answer to the Yamaha MT-07 and Kawasaki Z650 is now sitting at the back of showrooms while newer bikes pass it by. At a glance, the CB650R doesn't look like a failure. It's powered by a 649 cubic centimeter inline-4 engine, producing 94 horsepower and 46 pound-feet of torque, enough for real-world fun without being intimidating. It looks good too. The neo-retro styling, round LED headlights, and exposed frames still turn heads. The build quality is classic Honda, tight, solid, and free of surprises. Yet despite all that, sales are sliding fast. Dealers across Europe, North America, and Asia report significant overstocking. In some U.S. states, showrooms have 2,023 units still on the floor, discounted by up to $1,200 just to move them. UK and German dealers are reporting similar trouble. Honda's middleweight lineup is now dominated by the CB500F and the new CB750 Hornet, both of which are stealing attention from the 650. So what went wrong? Pricing and positioning. At roughly $9,400, the CB650R sits in an uncomfortable middle ground. The cheaper CB750 Hornet makes more power, around 90 horsepower from its parallel twin engine, weighs less, and has a modern TFT display, quick shifter, and advanced riding modes. The CB650R, meanwhile, hasn't changed much since 2019. It still uses an LCD screen that looks outdated next to the Hornet's color unit. Buyers walking into a Honda showroom in 2025 are simply gravitating toward the newer model that offers more tech for less money. The CB650R also faces stiff competition outside Honda's walls. Yamaha's MT-09, KTM's 790 Duke, and even CF Moto's 800 NK now offer more features and performance for similar or lower prices. In today's market, buyers expect cornering ABS, traction control settings, and adjustable screens, things the CB650R lacks. Honda's traditional strengths, reliability, and smoothness just don't hold the same pull when every competitor offers excitement, electronics, and value in one package. Another issue is changing buyer habits. In the mid-2000s, riders wanted middleweight inline fours. Now, the trend is toward lighter, torquier twins that feel punchier in everyday riding. The CB650R's high-revving engine, once praised for refinement, now feels a little flat in traffic and slightly out of sync with modern expectations. Younger riders prefer instant torque and a more upright, aggressive stance, both of which the Hornet and MT-07 deliver better. Dealers are trying to fight back with incentives, 0% financing, accessory credits, and bundled gear. But the momentum has shifted. One California dealer summed it up bluntly in an interview earlier this year. "It's a great bike, but no one's asking for it anymore." That sentiment captures the entire situation. The CB650R didn't become worse. The market simply evolved past it. Even in developing markets where Honda typically dominates, the CB650R struggles. Buyers there are either upgrading to larger bikes like the CB1000 Hornet Touring Edition, or sticking with smaller, more affordable models like the CB500F. The 650 doesn't offer a clear reason to exist in between. To make things more complicated, Honda's own success with the Hornet is pushing the CB650R closer to discontinuation. Industry insiders say Honda may phase it out after 2025 in favor of consolidating its middleweight lineup around the 750 series platform. That means fewer updates and less promotion, which explains the silence surrounding the CB650R this year. It's a sad twist for what remains one of the most beautifully built middleweights on the market. The CB650R rides superbly, its inline 4 still sounds refined, and it handles with the confidence only Honda's chassis engineers can deliver. But when buyers walk into a showroom with choices like the MC09's tech, the 750 Hornet's price, or the 800 NK's flair, the CB650R's strengths just don't stand out anymore. The Honda CB650R proves that even well-balanced, well-built motorcycles can fall behind if they stand still too long. It's still a joy to ride, but in 2025, the joy isn't enough to make it sell. It's smooth, reliable, and well-built, but that's not enough anymore, because the next bike on this list shows how even perfection can be punished when buyers move faster than the market. And taking the top spot, the Yamaha Tracer 9 GT Plus, a brilliant motorcycle that proves even near perfection, can struggle to find a buyer in 2025. This should be one of the easiest motorcycles in the world to sell. It's powerful, practical, and packed with tech that makes long rides smooth and effortless. It's the kind of bike that's built for real-world riders, fast, comfortable, and adaptable. But in 2025, it's become one of the most unexpectedly slow-moving models in Yamaha's lineup. Dealers across the US, Europe, and Australia are all reporting the same thing. The Tracer 9 GT Plus is a great motorcycle that nobody seems to be buying. At a glance, it looks like the perfect machine. Priced at around $16,500, it's powered by Yamaha's famous 890 cubic centimeter CP3 triple-cylinder engine, the same platform that made the MT-09 and XSR 900 bestsellers. The engine produces 117 horsepower and 68 pound-feet of torque, offering smooth, steady power across the rev range. Yamaha paired it with their most advanced electronics ever: adaptive cruise control, radar-assisted distance keeping, cornering ABS, and an IMU that constantly adjusts braking and traction in real time. So where did things go wrong? It starts with pricing and perception. Yamaha marketed the Tracer 9 GT Plus as a high-tech touring bike, but its price bumped it into competition with more premium brands, and that's where it stumbled. For a few $1,000s more, riders can step into a BMW F900XR, a Triumph Tiger 900 GT Pro, or even the Ducati Multistrada V2S, all of which carry stronger brand prestige. When potential buyers walk into a dealership with $17,000 to spend, Yamaha isn't usually the badge they want to show off. Dealers are also seeing pushback from returning Tracer customers. Many owners of the previous Tracer 900 GT or Tracer 9 GT models find the jump in price hard to justify. The older bikes already offered heated grips, luggage, cruise control, and comfort seats. The new model adds radar and a TFT dash. Impressive features, but not enough to convince riders to trade in when their 2020 bikes still run flawlessly. There's also a weight and complexity problem. At 485 pounds wet, the Tracer 9 GT Plus isn't heavy for a sport tourer, but it feels bulkier than before. The added sensors, radar unit, and electronics package make it feel more gadget-dependent and rider-connected. Many longtime Yamaha owners prefer the simpler, more mechanical feel of the earlier Tracer generations. The radar-assisted braking system, while advanced, has also drawn mixed reactions from riders who find it intrusive during sporty riding. Then there's competition within Yamaha's own garage. The MT-09 and XSR 900 share the same engine and offer nearly the same performance for thousands less. For many riders, it's hard to justify paying nearly $5,000 more just for panniers and radar. When a base MT-09 already delivers that same grin-inducing ride. As one dealer in California put it, people test ride the Tracer, love it, and then walk out with an MT-09. Yamaha's global sales reports reflect this shift. Between 2023 and 2025, Tracer 9 GT Plus deliveries dropped nearly 35%, even as MT-09 and Tenere 700 sales rose sharply. In Europe, the GT Plus was supposed to dominate the sport touring class, but the release of the new Honda NT1100 DCT undercut it. That bike offers more comfort, automatic shifting, and similar touring features for less money, and it carries Honda's ironclad reputation for reliability. Even buyers who can afford the Tracer 9 GT Plus are second-guessing the investment because of dealer markups and limited availability of replacement parts. Radar-equipped systems are expensive to repair, and in some countries, even simple sensor replacements require factory calibration, adding hundreds of dollars in service costs. Riders who used to buy Yamahas for simplicity are now worried about long-term ownership costs. It's not that the bike itself is flawed. Far from it. It rides beautifully. The semi-active suspension glides over rough roads. The engine is smooth and flexible, and the comfort level is among the best in its class. It's everything a modern tourer should be, just delivered at a time when buyers are chasing the opposite: smaller, cheaper, and simpler machines. Even Yamaha's marketing has struggled to make the GT Plus exciting. The company leans heavily on its radar tech and adaptive cruise control, but that message doesn't resonate with core riders. Most buyers in this segment still prefer the feeling of control, not the idea of an intelligent system taking over. And while radar might sell cars, it's not yet a selling point that moves motorcycles. To make matters worse, the used market has already started softening. Early GT Plus owners are trading in their bikes for Tenere 700s or even older Tracer models, forcing resale values down. A 2023 Tracer 9 GT Plus that once cost $16,500 is now going for around $11,000 to $12,000 on the used market, depending on condition, a steep drop for a bike only a few years old. Still, those who understand the bike and use it as intended, long touring routes, mixed weather, and high mileage, swear by it. They praise its comfort, stability, and unmatched fuel economy of nearly 50 miles per gallon, which gives a range of more than 250 miles. But unfortunately, most buyers today aren't shopping for practical performance. They're chasing price tags, personality, and simplicity. The Yamaha Tracer 9 GT Plus is one of the best motorcycles that nobody's buying in 2025. It's an example of how fast the market can turn, and how being too far ahead of your audience can hurt sales. The dealers can lower prices, offer free luggage, and even throw in extended warranties. But what the Tracer 9 GT Plus really needs is riders who still value everything it represents. It's a smart, capable, near-perfect machine. But in a world chasing minimalism, that perfection is what's holding it back. Every motorcycle on this list proves that even strong names and solid specs don't guarantee success. Sometimes timing, price, or a single design choice can make all the difference. Which of these bikes do you think deserves a second chance, and which should quietly disappear? Comment below, subscribe for more straight talk bike breakdowns, and let's see what 2026 brings to the road.